As darkness falls, with it the nightly chaotic procession of new patients. Han Yunis in the south is the Israeli military's new theatre, the city's main hospital, an arena of suffering. A woman in so much pain, she struggles to leave the ambulance. Next, a shell-shocked little girl. No name, no family. Followed by a terrified little boy, brought in with his mother. At first, she seems unresponsive. He clings to her side, trying to wake her, before being gently led away. But finally, her hands reach up, and she finds the strength to comfort him. Today, the Israeli military say they've struck over 450 targets in the last 24 hours and say their operation in the south will take months. Israel is clear they have not yet reached their goals.
We will continue the war until the end. It will continue until Hamas is eliminated, until victory. Those who think we will stop are not connected to reality. We will not stop fighting until we achieve all of the goals we have set: the elimination of Hamas, the release of our hostages, and the removal of the threat from Gaza.
A UN Security Council vote on a resolution on Gaza was delayed again today. The wording still not acceptable to the US, who are not in favour of a more permanent ceasefire. But their support for Israel is coming with more caveats.
It's clear that the conflict will move and needs to move to a lower intensity phase. And we expect to see and want to see a shift to more targeted operations with a smaller number of forces.
Hamas want a permanent ceasefire. Their leader, seen here on the right, is holding intensive talks in Egypt. His presence seen as a sign a deal is close. It will likely mean more hostages are released, but there's little appetite within Israel for an end to the war.
I don't think that Israelis right now would want to see a permanent ceasefire unless there is a chance that it would see the return of all of the hostages. But even in that case, if all of the hostages come back, there will still be a sizable portion of Israelis who I believe would argue that it is against Israel's interest to accept a permanent ceasefire, because Hamas will remain with its leadership intact, with many of its fighters still around, and with a lot of its key assets and infrastructure.
There's enormous pressure on the Israeli government to get more hostages out. Today, released hostages returned to the kibbutz they were kidnapped from and had one question.
Why do I get to be in and they don't? They all have to come back home now.
A 30-minute drive away, Rafah in southern Gaza was pounded all day with airstrikes. No one seems to know which direction is safe. The Gaza Health Ministry say over 20,000 people have now been killed in this war.